Hi, and welcome.
Emma was 31, a portrait photographer who didn't just take pictures. She captured the parts of people they didn't know they were showing. A quirk of the mouth. The way two fingers touched when they weren't supposed to. The silence between a smile and a sigh. Her work was known for being deeply human, and so was her life, or so it seemed. Her husband, Daniel, 37, was a schoolteacher. Gentle, warm. He was the kind of man who remembered birthdays, not just for his friends, but for neighbors, for her parents, even for the old florist on the corner. Married 9 years, they were the couple everyone pointed to and said, "That's what love should look like." But even steady ships can take on water without anyone noticing. It started small. Emma began working late nights on a new gallery project. She noticed Daniel seemed distracted. His phone was never far from his hand. At dinner, his eyes weren't really there. His smile felt like it was holding something back. She told herself it was just work stress. One night, she was transferring photos from her camera to her computer, and Daniel's phone, connected to the same cloud, synced automatically. Messages appeared in a little window. They weren't graphic. They weren't the kind you'd blush to read. But they were intimate, playful, personal, and they weren't to her. They were from a woman named Rachel. Emma sat still for a long time, staring at those words. There was no yelling, no tears. It was that quiet, heavy kind of heartbreak that doesn't explode. It sinks deep and cold. She didn't confront him. Instead, she started looking at other couples differently. Through her camera, she studied them. The way fingers intertwined. The way eyes darted away or lingered. She poured herself into a series she called Unsaid Things. Photographs of people whose bodies told stories their words never did. Over time, she learned more. Rachel was another teacher, younger, new at the school. Emma didn't hate her. Not really. She didn't even know her. But she hated the version of Daniel that Rachel seemed to awaken. A softer, lighter Daniel. One she hadn't seen in years. Emma decided her revenge wouldn't be loud. It wouldn't be screaming in a kitchen or throwing his clothes into the street. No, it would be precise. One evening, over dinner, she told Daniel she wanted to feature him in her next gallery exhibition. The theme would be love and truth. She wanted to take portraits of the people who mattered to her. He smiled, a little flattered, and agreed without hesitation. In her studio, she photographed him alone first, then the two of them together. Then she told him she wanted one more. Him with someone else important in his life, outside the marriage. She explained it as part of the concept. Love isn't just romantic, it can be platonic, familial, even complicated. Daniel hesitated. His hand tapped the side of his leg, a nervous tell. Then he smiled, almost shyly, and said, "I think I know who I should bring." A week later, Rachel walked into the studio. She was smaller than Emma imagined, with kind eyes and an easy laugh. Emma greeted her warmly, as if this was nothing unusual. She didn't pose them. She let them talk, laugh, touch, completely at ease. Through the lens, she saw everything. The way Daniel's eyes softened when Rachel spoke. The subtle way Rachel tilted her head toward him. The invisible thread between them. Emma pressed the shutter, again and again. Not to catch them in the act, but to capture what they didn't even realize they were giving away. When the exhibition opened, the air was warm with music and the low hum of conversation. Emma's photographs lined the walls, strangers, friends, couples in moments of love, loss, longing. People wandered slowly, reading the small captions beneath each piece. At the center of the room hung the largest print of the night. Daniel and Rachel, laughing together, eyes lit in a way Emma hadn't seen in years. They looked like the kind of people who believed the world was kind. Beneath the photo, the caption read, "The Other Side of Truth." Guests stopped in front of it, stared, whispered. Some recognized Daniel immediately. His face, pale under the gallery lights, seemed to shrink as realization spread through the room. Rachel left quietly. Daniel stood frozen. Emma didn't speak to him. She didn't need to. The photograph spoke louder than she ever could. The next morning, Daniel's side of the closet was empty. There was no note. She didn't ask where he went. The exhibition became a small sensation. Critics called it raw and devastating. Every piece sold, except for one. The last portrait. Daniel and Rachel. Emma kept it, hidden in a drawer. Not out of love, out of reminder. Years later, she still photographed couples. She could always tell when something was breaking between them. The tiny spaces they left between their hands, the way one person's eyes wandered to the floor. She could see the cracks before the people themselves could feel them. And when someone asked her once during a live interview what the most important photograph she'd ever taken was, she only smiled faintly and said, "The one I never show anyone."